so let's jump right in. Good morning, everyone.
Oh, hi.
Morning.
A few housekeeping rules. Please remember to mute yourself when you're not speaking so that we don't have any background noise. Can hear everyone clearly. You want to make sure we identify yourself before you speak. Speak slowly and clearly because we are online. And there's also, if you are connected online and need to say anything, there's a raise hand function to indicate that you wish to speak. This is the July 8th, 2020 hearing for the Executive Appointments Committee. I am Councilman Christopher Burnett, Vice Chair of the committee, sitting in on behalf of Councilmember Stokes, who is not able to join us this morning. We're also joined by committee members, Councilmember Clark of the 14th District, Councilmember Slifer of the 5th District, and Councilmember Cohen of the 1st District. It also looks like on the line we have Rebecca Simmons from the Council President's Office and Dominic McAlilly from the Council President's Office. I also see Nina Thimlis from the Mayor's Office. I lost my place. And the committee staff person who's helping us run the show this morning, Ms. Marguerite Curran. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Also joining us today, we have Kimberly Grade, who was nominated to serve as member of the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities, and Natasha Darty. I'm sorry if I'm misspelling your name. My apologies. Please correct me. Darty, my apologies. Nominated to serve as a member of the Board of Directors for the Parking Authority of Baltimore City. I don't see the council president on the line. Will give us opening remarks. Okay. And before we start, we're going to start with Ms. Grade. Is there anyone in attendance who would wish to testify on her behalf before Ms. Grade gives remarks?
Good morning, Councilmember Burnett. Cedric McCall, Office of Equity and Civil Rights. Just wanted to participate this morning for Ms. Grade's process this morning, and I'm going to defer to Ms. Sharonda Huffman. She is with our Mayor's Commission on Disabilities, and in our agency, she is our go-to person for anything and everything ADA. So, Ms. Huffman, I don't know if you wanted to say a few words as it relates to Ms. Grade moving forward. Thank you.
Yes. Councilman Barnett, is it okay to speak?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I am Sharonda Huffman. I'm the Accessibility and Compliance Coordinator for the Office of Equity and Civil Rights in the Disability section. And part of my duties is that I help with the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities. Ms. Kimberly Grade, when I started about a year and a half ago, she was a member of the commission, and I contacted her because I thought it was very important that we have someone from the hospital system. She is she has a background in vocational rehabilitation, and she works at Sinai Hospital. And one of the missions of the Disabilities Commission is also to help with employment. So her background is very important for a Disabilities Commission, as well as since I have been in this role, we are trying to reestablish the commission and its importance, and she has been very vital in providing the information, as well as her expertise on various issues that related to the old commission, as well as what's going on now. So she is an excellent choice for our Disabilities Commission, especially since we have a lot of issues with COVID-19 in West Baltimore. I thought she would be an amazing asset because that's one of the issues that I hope the Disabilities Commission will address. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
I guess I was muted. Sorry about that. All right, let me start over. Ms. Grade, the committee would like for you to state your name, tell us about your background and interest in the position, and share your vision for the commission. After you finish your presentation, committee members may have a few questions for you.
Good morning, everyone. First, let me thank Ms. Sharonda for that very nice um, introduction. My name is Kimberly Grade. I work as a vocational case coordinator here at Sinai Hospital in the outpatient rehab center. I've been with Sinai Hospital and LifeBridge Health for 11 years, and I've been in this role since 2008. It's been a while, 12, something like that. I've served on the mayor's commission since 2012, actually. And I have been a part of the employment committee since 2012, where we were tasked quite often with assisting individuals with disabilities in finding and maintaining employment. Also looking at legislation and different barriers that individuals with disabilities have. Because I do this for my primary job with individuals with brain injury, I carry some of those skills over to the commission to assist in general, so to speak. I would say that my hope is to continue with the commission, to continue helping those with disabilities move forward in their lives, more so with their need and want to work. And I think that's it in a nutshell. I don't want to ramble, but we pretty much get done whatever we're tasked with doing. And please feel free to ask any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. So what I'm
You're
going
very
to do
welcome.
is go through the committee for questions, and they can just let me know if they have any or not. It's probably the best way to do it. So I'm going to start with Council Member Mary Pat Clark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I do have a question. I've, of course, read your resume and all the materials that were provided, and thanks to the agency for doing such a good job of gathering that information and reaching out for such a veteran but absolutely necessary member of this reemerging organization. Well, first of all, let me say you didn't mention your involvement with AKA, and I'm going to mention it for you so any of the sisters who are somehow involved will know that they are well represented on this committee. So thank you for that. Yeah, I read through your amazing resume, and I was also impressed with with your climb through your expertise with so many groups that I admire. The Woodburn Center with kids, Family Tree, and a lot of others. But most of all, I wanted to ask you about this return program that you've been heading up and working on. It sounds amazing, and I know that it's going to benefit the whole city with you being on the task force. But could you just explain a bit what you do and the work of that group at Sinai?
Sure. So here's my little brochure. I don't know if you guys
All
can see.
right. Well, oh, that's great.
I worked hard on this, by the way. But
I understand. And if you got it into that size, you worked really hard because I know you wanted to say 10,000 things more.
And it's jammed into 2 pages.
Amen.
Yes. So
AKA.
So here at Return to Work, we have a very specialized, unique program. We service individuals with acquired and traumatic brain injuries with their full gamut of returning to work. That path looks different for everyone.
Yeah.
So we have a very individualized program. It's only me and a coworker. We are a sister program to the Return Day program. So many folks come here to Sinai after having a brain injury, and they go through weeks of rehab through our day program. And then many go to a training program here at the hospital. And that's kind of when I get in and assess what they're doing and what they can and can't do. And then if they have a vocational plan after that, they come to my program. And that's when we start with job development services, building resumes and cover letters, and basically a plan that's pretty carved for that individual's needs. That in itself is very different for everyone, because if you've worked in brain injury, you know one thing about brain injury is that every case is different.
Right.
So that's where we figure out what that person needs on an individualized basis. We create the plan, and then we start hitting the pavement to find them a job.
That's great.
We find competitive employment. So what that means is that they basically apply for the same jobs you and I do. But they have the assistance of us to help with everything from application processing, disclosure, how to do that, which is a whole thing in itself. And then we have the ability to stay on board for job coaching services, which means once they get employed, we stay along with them to make sure they not only get a job, but that they maintain it. I have folks on my caseload now that I've been with probably followed since about 2012.
It sounds like a great program.
It's a great program. I've been very blessed to be here since 2012. Although I'm not one of the pioneers, I came in soon after it was established. So I have luckily been able to find out what works and what doesn't work and tweak some things. We're at a really good point now with rebuilding again since COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We just started back up last week, which was one of the reasons I could not be sworn in prior weeks, because I wasn't at work. The hospital was shut down. But thankfully, we're back open and running. I can reconnect with my clients, see who's out there in new need. It's going to be difficult. We already know the job market is difficult in itself.
Right.
Then you put more layers on it with the disability, but it can be conquered. I have so many success stories. I could tell you guys, we could be on the phone all day with that. But I absolutely love what I do.
A unique and wonderful blessing of a program. So I'm glad you're coming back to be with us to help us get the benefit too here in Baltimore City. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Slifer, any questions for the nominee?
No, I'm good.
Councilmember Cohen?
All set, but thank you very much for your service, and appreciate both your extensive background and also what you bring to the city. So thank you for stepping up.
Thank you. And I'm not seeing any other council members on the call. So with that, I also want to thank you for your service as well. Councilmember Clark actually asked the question I was going to ask, and you sort of touched on it as well around COVID. So thank you for your service, and continued wanting to serve on these boards. I mean, this is important work. It's a thankless job, so definitely appreciate it. We are going to move to the next nominee. So, I'm going to make sure I get it right this time. Ms. Dartigue, did I get it right? Okay. The committee would like for you to state your name, tell us about your background and interest in the position. And
excuse me, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I think Mr. Little was here to say something on her behalf.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Sorry. Mr. Little, would you like to go first, and then we'll go to the nominee?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and committee members. Thank you for letting me speak on behalf of Ms. Dartigue's nomination today. The Parking Authority staff fully supports the nomination of Ms. Dartigue to the Parking Authority's Board of Directors. Ms. Dartigue was recommended for this position by our esteemed board chairman, Elva Tillman. And I think many of you know Ms. Tillman, and you know that that would be a very high bar to be recommended by her. Ms. Dartigue has demonstrated both personally and professionally that she's dedicated to public service and the betterment of the city. And we believe she'd bring that same energy and dedication to our board and will help to guide us into the future. And therefore, we request that the committee approve the nomination of Ms. Dartigue to the Board of Directors of the Parking Authority. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Dartigue, you're welcome to proceed.
Good morning. I first want to say thank you to Ms. Tillman for the recommendation. Thank you to Mr. Little for the nomination. And thank you to everyone for the opportunity to meet and speak with you today. My name is Natasha Dartigue, and I currently serve as the Deputy District Public Defender for Baltimore City. I have served the citizens of Baltimore City since August of 1996. I started in the Public Defender's Office at that time in the Juvenile Division, and I essentially have grown professionally as an attorney through the various divisions in the Public Defender's Office, and I've been in my current position since 2017. I am a dedicated servant of the citizens of Baltimore, as you can see by my professional career, but also in terms of outside of my professional career. I had the opportunity to participate in the GBC Leadership Academy, which gave me the opportunity to connect with other individuals who care deeply about Baltimore and to learn more about Baltimore, other aspects that I had not known before. And the other thing of which I am extremely proud is my involvement with Innovation Works, which really has taken a special attention to the social entrepreneurs of Baltimore City, those who believe in the communities, who have a special understanding of the communities and seek to build the communities. So my service to the board is pretty much an outgrowth of that. I am always looking for creative and new opportunities to serve. I believe diverse ideas are extremely important. My background is primarily that of criminal law, but my dedication to the city, as well as a fresh perspective, I believe would be a benefit to the board and in turn a benefit to the citizens of Baltimore. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for commitment to continuing the work. It's definitely appreciated. All right, so we are similarly going to go. I'm going to go down the list of council members, and we will start with Councilmember Clark. Mute, Councilmember. Sorry.
I was mute. Oh, good. I was mute. My phone rang when I was muted. That's good. Pardon me for having to duck and tell them no. I am so impressed with your resume, and I have to mention publicly that you were awarded by the Bar Association as Government Lawyer of the Year in 2018. That is, I mean, I cannot believe that you started in 1996 because you look as if you were maybe born then, but bless you and for the work that you've been doing. How do you think you can help the Parking Authority Board is an awesome place. I've been before it a couple times and I felt as if I was going to circuit court and I was trying to argue my way out of some kind of sentence. They're very about business. And Mr. Little is a very responsive, but rules are rules director. So this board is kind of an awesome place. Have you had a chance to think about the roles that you can play? I mean, obviously you could, if they get sued, we'll get out of it with your help. No question about it. And you are a public defender. So if some people come in and they don't get what they need, maybe you can represent them. But have you thought about how you can contribute or what you have in mind?
So my thoughts really surround, from my unique perspective as I've spent my career representing the individuals.
Yes.
I definitely bring the perspective of, in terms of various issues that individuals will face in terms of the parking authority, what would be the individual's perspective? Like, what would the little guy, how would the little guy face?
Yeah.
Well, as my background as a criminal defense attorney is always about kind of dissecting what the issue is, kind of the preemptive strike, like where would I see the problems to be and whatever maybe ideas that were to be implemented. I would bring that perspective as to kind of analyzing what prospective problems or issues that could have come down the line from any proposal. So I think those were two important perspectives that I would bring.
That's a great answer. Thank you for that. My own experience, my own experience is that it's a powerful crowd, and people do come from neighborhoods. At least I did. I mean, I came on behalf of neighborhoods, and you really feel as if it's a serious place, and you're always looking for people, and there are a lot of them there that will take the time to analyze what you're talking about, and it's very grassroots in much of what's going on. So your skills, and especially your public defender kind of bias, will be great there. Thank you so much, and thanks for agreeing to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Clark. Councilmember Slifer, any questions?
No, I'm good.
And Councilmember Cohen?
Also good, but again, thank you so much for your willingness to serve. We deeply appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll keep going down. All right. We will now take testimony from attendees who called in or have raised their hand, which I'm not seeing any. And I'm not sure if anyone has called in, so I'm not going to read the full script here. Marguerite,
That's correct, Mr. That's correct, Mr. Chair. There are no people there to do public testimony.
Okay. All right. So then we can move on to the vote. That concludes this portion of the hearing. The committee will now hold a vote. Is there a motion to recommend Kimberly Grade for the nomination? Councilmember, it looks like you're trying to do it, but you're muted. It's all right. You got to unmute yourself.
Mr. Chair, I would like the honor of nominating approval of Ms. Kimberly Grade to serve on the Commission for Disabilities, Baltimore City.
Second.
All right. The motion was made by Councilmember Clark. It was seconded by Councilmember Cohen. We're going to move to the vote. Councilmember Stokes is absent. Councilmember Burnett, I vote yes. Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Cohen?
Yes.
Councilmember Slifer?
Yes.
Okay. And that nomination will move forward. Congratulations. Is there a motion to recommend Natasha Darty for the nomination?
Mr. Chair, honored to nominate Natasha Dartig to serve on the Parking Authority Board.
Second.
Okay. Motion made by Councilmember Clark, seconded by Councilmember Cohen. Councilmember Stokes is absent, and I vote yes. Councilmember Clark?
Yes.
Councilmember Cohen?
Yes.
Councilmember Slifer?
Yes.
Okay, so it looks like both motions have passed. The committee will recommend a favorable report for both nominees. The nomination will be placed on second reader on Monday, July 13th, 2020. While on second reader, the full council will review and take a vote at that time. On behalf of the mayor and city council of Baltimore, I would like to thank both of you for your willingness to give your time and efforts to serve the citizens of Baltimore. And if there is no other business, the committee will now be adjourned. Thank you all for joining us this morning and stepping up. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thanks, Ms.
Thank you. Everyone
Thank you,
stay well.
ladies.